Hello everyone, welcome back to Baruch Nation. Let's go for a drive on another quest. We are headed for multiple locations to get some quest items. Shouldn't be a long one. We'll see. We'll see if the items are available. So I know it's been a little bit of a time, but unfortunately we're still going through COVID and it's getting worse. People don't listen. I know people are getting restless. I know people are getting sick and tired of staying home. But here in Ontario, they're now closing down restaurants and gyms and things again because people don't listen. So what can you do? Right? You had your little bit of fun, and now more and more people are getting sick, and less options. Like the movie theaters had reopened. I watched Tenet, really enjoyed it. I want to watch it again because it's kind of confusing, but now my theater is closed again. And when I went to the theater, there was only 6 people. Right? So I'm like, just 6 people and it can hold what? 100, 80, whatever the number is. And there was 6. You can space us out. You don't need to close down. But I guess at the same time, money's not coming in. So what can you do? I still want to watch New Mutants. Looks like that's going to be a streaming. I hope it shows up on Disney Plus. Right, because I have Disney Plus. I haven't watched it in a while, but I know Mulan's coming out this December. So hopefully, since New Mutant is under Marvel and I think it's Fox, hopefully they can come out with it. Because I don't know if Fox has a streaming service or not. Right, but I believe Fox is also it's not Fox. It's 20th Century Fox is also owned by Disney now, right? I think. Anyway, I'm pretty sure, hopefully New Mutants will show up on Disney Plus, so I'll be able to watch it there, because it's been in the theaters here since August. I believe it was supposed to come out this month in October, but I don't know, it seems things are confusing, and it doesn't look like I'll be able to watch it in the theaters anytime soon, so I'm just gonna have to wait. Let's go park between the 2 Mercedes. All right. Time to see if we can acquire our quest items. So that was a failure. The item was picked clean. We're gonna have to wait for it to respawn. On to the next task. This one should be simpler. Let's get the pink Porsche on camera here. Interesting choice of color. This person, I've been watching where they're driving. It's like, you're already in the friggin' lane. You're in my way. Get out. On to the next quest. So I've started playing Vampyr, October's free PlayStation Plus game, and it's not what I expected, not one bit. I was thinking more along the lines of a action RPG or like a Devil May Cry, like actually like more, or should I say, I was hoping for, because I can't remember a game except for like, what the hell's going on? Legend of Kain, right? Like I don't remember a vampire game that actually lets you just be a vampire. I don't remember one. I haven't played one since Legend of Kain. So I was hoping that this game, like it looked like that you can drink blood and you got powers and stuff. What is going on here? So I was hoping this game would have been, I hate coming out. Anyway, I was hoping that game would have been it, or this game, should I say, Vampyr would have been it. But I'm very intrigued for a different reason. This game is incredibly heavy. Let me break it down. This is not an action game, right? This game is very much a dialogue-based detective game. Surprisingly, right? You're a vampire, right? And you're looking for clues and answers to answer questions for the characters in the game. Reason being is, and it's kind of sinister and it's kind of genius and it's really weird all at the same time, right? Let me go back to the beginning. You're a doctor, right? You're a surgeon who specializes in blood transfusion. Surprise, surprise. You go off to war, World War II. You come back from the war and a vampire gets you, turns you into a vampire, leaves you for dead. Obviously you're not, because you're a vampire, but the game starts with you literally in a pit of dead bodies and you crawl your way out, right? And now you're a newly created vampire. You have no idea about, you know, your powers or anything. You don't even know you're a vampire. You just know that you're all dazed and confused, and that's how the game begins. So the first detective work, or the beginning parts that I'm still doing, is you're trying to figure out who is the vampire that converted you, and you want to get answers. So it's very, I like the concept of the game. It's really interesting to me, because the whole premise or the whole idea is you can kill, there's vampire hunters and there's like enemies, right? You can kill the enemies, no problem, right? It doesn't count towards anything negative. But the main NPCs, right? The non-player characters, the main quest givers and the people who give you your clues, you can kill them as a vampire. But the more quests you do for them, the more information you find out for them, the more you help them out, the more nourishing, the more powerful their blood will be for you if you choose to kill them, right? And you have that choice. It's either, the way the game works is, the more of the NPCs you kill, the more powerful you become as a vampire, right? Which is makes the game a lot easier when you're fighting the enemies. There's bosses and stuff like that, right? So once you kill, the more NPCs you kill, the more powerful you become as a vampire. The more powerful you are as a vampire, the easier the game gets for when you're fighting the bad guys. But if you're a trophy hunter, there is a trophy for beating the game without killing one single NPC, which means you're always going to be, from what I was reading, you're always going to be roughly 5 to 10 levels lower than all the enemies you're facing, because you haven't increased your vampire powers by killing the NPCs in the game. Crazy concept. right? So it's like you could literally kill as many people you come, like the NPCs you come across, but the penalty is every section of the game is broken down into zones, and that character could be a main pillar of that zone. If you kill the pillar, right, then the zone's safety drops and more monsters will move in, making the zone more dangerous for you. Also, other characters who might have been linked to that character will move out, and you'll lose quests, you'll lose story, you'll lose the information because those characters are now gone for good. But you'll be more powerful for when you're facing enemies. So it's like, it's this weird like balance, right? It seems it's a lot of talking. There's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of talking, right? But it's interesting. It's still interesting. I like the idea of it. I just wish I wish you could be more powerful in the more traditional sense that you kill enemies, you get XP, you become a more powerful vampire, right? But the easiest way and the fastest way to get powerful is to kill the NPCs. But if you kill the wrong one at the wrong time, or if you kill the wrong one, period, I don't know how it'll screw up your gameplay. Like, you'll lose quests, you'll lose areas. It sounds really interesting. At the same time, your character is a doctor. So, as a doctor, you can actually, you're in a hospital working, right? I think you could actually screw that up too. I don't know how the game would work if you don't work in the hospital. I have no idea. But you can also, you work in a hospital and you can actually cure people. So I'll get back to that next part of the quest. So mission accomplished. Now on to the next part, which is delivery. Much like an RPG, like where I left off. So Vampyr, I love the idea of, it's not like a Mass Effect game where like you have like morality, but at the same time, if you kill the wrong person, like I'm curious, I'm really curious of starting the game again, just to see, like, the very first character I come across, if I kill him, how is that gonna affect the rest of the game? Because he's a pillar, right? Now, I don't know if I'll be able to, because you also need to be strong enough to actually, like, there's a system in place called Mesmerize. If you're not strong enough to mesmerize them, I don't know if you can kill them or not. I'm not sure. So I want to try and see, you know, if I can try to kill the pillar character right off the bat. I don't think you can, because that will literally screw up the whole game. Right? Because if you kill the guy, right, he's the guy who leads you to the hospital to start your job again as a doctor. If you kill the doctor, I don't know how that would work. If you kill the doctor, you won't go to the hospital. You don't go to the hospital, you're not going to meet the other characters. You don't meet the other characters. There's not much of a game to go through, because you're not going to be basically playing Clue. I'm really curious how that would work. Really, really curious. I want to see how this would all play out. Right, so, I might play it again. Actually, no. It's just the thing. The save system, it auto-saves, but there's not like, you know, save one, save two. Like, you can't play two different playthroughs at the same time. I'm guessing you're going to have to, like, I haven't even seen the option to restart. There has to be an option somewhere, but you'll have to essentially, literally delete your previous game and start all over again playing the different style, right? But I really, because the Vampyr powers are pretty cool, Like, I want to be a badass vampire, period. I want to be a badass vampire. I don't want to be, you know, Mr. Goody Two Shoes soft vampire, right? Like, why would I want to make the combat side of the game more difficult, right? And that's exactly what it is. You make, by not killing, it makes you weaker for the future battles, or for battles to come. All right? It makes you weaker for future battles. So it's like, why would I want that? But at the same time, right, I want to be good, right? Like, but I get it. At the same time, that's been taken away. Like, that's what I really like about the game. It's the whole morality thing, right? It's like, I'm not a human anymore. I am now the undead. So should I live by the human rules, right? But at the same time, right, if I fuck up my game and kill the wrong people, now there's certain quests that could potentially make me more powerful, or quests that could give me certain items that now I'm just gonna 100% lose. But I guess if you want to be the badass vampire, at least your combat side of things will be better, so you'll be stronger, and by killing certain people, you could potentially bring in more enemies for you to fight, and now that you're stronger, the enemy battle should be better? I don't know. Like I said, I wish I could play through two different styles at the same time, but there's no save feature that I'm aware of. You just play the game, right? So, right? Like, there's no, like, it just auto saves. Like, you have a hideout, and I guess whenever you enter a hideout, the game saves, right? But what I really like, I'm not even sure what studio made the game, but I really like the creativity and the I guess uniqueness, like how they, because I've never played the company who made this game, I believe what's the game, Life is Strange or something like that, or one of those kind of games. I've never played these kind of games before. This is a different take, but they said it's completely different than anything they've made before. Because I believe those other games, I don't think there's any combat at all. It's all story-driven gameplay, right? And this one's such an odd mishmash of, like, you figure you're a vampire, you're either going to be fighting humans or fighting vampires or the like, right? And you're going to be up, like, I want to play a game where, like, that's like Devil May Cry, or a game that's like God of War, but I'm a vampire, so I can just slaughter and get stronger and, you know, just keep going, right? I just want to be a powerful, badass vampire killer. Like, I'm surprised there's no games made like that, right? Like, this guy, I guess in theory he could be powerful, but at the end of the day, he's still a doctor. So he's, you know, he has that oath, he still has that humanity in him from being a doctor, right? His oath is to save lives, not take them, even though that was taken away from him by this mystery vampire, right? So I'll keep playing it. Once again, it's free with PlayStation Plus for October. So anything free, I'll give it a try. I also downloaded Need for Speed. I think it's Underground. That's free for October. I'm not even sure, but I haven't played that one yet. Right? But I've also been playing, which is also free to play, Genshin Impact, a Japanese RPG, mainly single player, right? Player versus environment that has a bit of, once you hit a certain level, then you get the ability to play with friends. But it's primarily a single player experience. My one issue with it so far is that for a game that's like straight up Japanese, the characters to a degree, don't look Japanese enough. I know it's a weird complaint, but anyways, Genshin Impact, it's pretty fun. It's very much based on gear. It's the gear you don't see. You see the weapon, right? Whatever weapon you give your character, you'll see a visual representation of, but all the other armor sets, you don't see. They all give you stat boosts. They do have stat sets and set boosts, which I love, but you just don't see them on your character. All the characters have a set look to them, right? The only thing that changes is the weapons, like I said. And the game is very much, I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4. It's also available on Android and iOS, which to me is incredible, considering how good the game looks. And I kind of want to, and it's on PC, I believe, as well, right? And it's if you have it on PC, then you can cross-play between your phone or your tablet and the PC. But on the console, on PlayStation, you can't, which sucks. Sony doesn't play nice with others. What can you do? But like I said, this game is it's basically like a mobile game. It's like Raid Shadow Legends and stuff like that. It's completely free. That's a nice stingray. It's like a mobile game. It's free to play. You can spend money to unlock new characters and get better gear, but you don't have to, and I'm not going to. But it's very much like in Raid Shadow Legends. The more you pay, the stronger the characters you get, right? And in this game, they give you like 1 or 2 free, and I'm guessing the others are going to be a serious grind to unlock. All right, but there's some really strong characters. Like there's a lot to the game in Genshin Impact. There's a lot to the game. Like there's the character you actually choose, the weapon you choose, how high you level your armor and your weapons. Then there's also a element system. So if you have a character who's every character has an element. There's earth, fire, ice, wind, electricity. I think there's also water. So and you have 4 characters, right? So you get up to 4 characters you can switch between in and out. So you can do an ice attack, switch to another character who has electricity, and they'll combine. Like the attacks do different. They do more damage when they combine with each other. So like you hit them with water, now they're wet. Then you hit them with electricity, they get electrocuted, right? Like it's stuff like that. So it's kind of cool, right? There's a whole bunch of different combinations of things that you can figure out while you're playing, or you can just go online and there's a ton of YouTube videos with people spending thousands of dollars, which to me is insane. Because if you buy it, that's the thing, these games, they're frustrating, but they're, as a business sense, genius. You buy a regular game, it's $80. You pay the $80, it's your game to play as long as you want. Everything's there. They might release DLCs later. It might be $10, $20, might be free. But these like online games or these like phone games and stuff, you have a really big portion of the game is free. Like basically the entire story is free. You can play through the entire storyline and don't have to pay a dime. But the end game stuff or the additional things, or more characters or more weapons or whatever, that's what you got to pay for. All right? And people, like, they want a certain character and it's all random. So they buy like a pack or whatever it is, and they like, it's insane. I watched this one video, the guy spent $3,000 trying to get one character. Think about that. That is an extremely high-end gaming PC. That is literally the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, all 4 versions of them. Every single launch game for both of them. brand new TV, a projector. Like, that's a lot of money, man. To play online RPG just to get a virtual character? $3,000, you could buy a used car. I get it. They're YouTubers, so they make their money back by making videos. So that's like a business expense, right? But that, if you really break it down, an average game, $60, $70, special editions, 80 to 100. And these guys, like, think about how many years you could play World of Warcraft or like Final Fantasy Online or any game that has a subscription for $3,000. How many years you'd get. But like I said, I believe they call them whales. That's the term. The guys who spend, or girls, the people who spend a ton of money on these games, I believe their term is whale. The whales, most of them are YouTubers, and they make back their money through their videos, so it's an investment, but it's crazy. Oh, like, when you spend that kind of money for one game, wow, blows my mind. But they, once again, it's information because it's random. You could spend all that money and not get the character you want. You could get, I don't know, something like every 90 polls guarantees you a character or something like that. One of the guys I was watching the video was saying, I'm like, that's insane. So you could get multiple duplicates of the same character and still not get the character you want after spending that kind of money, right? Because nothing's guaranteed. It would be better if you can just, you know what, $40, boom, buy the character. All right? People might complain about that, but it's player versus environment, so it doesn't really make any difference because there's no player versus player element to it. So it's not really a pay to win because you're not facing anybody. All right? You can team up with people, and if you have a more powerful character, it only benefits everybody, right? So, yeah, that's Genshin Impact. Free, right? I have no sponsors, so it doesn't help me none, but I like to play free games. I'm still playing Path of Exile. I'm a little bit irked because I spent roughly 2 months leveling up my witch, and I think she's badass, and I know compared to what I've seen online, she's nothing because I'm low level still. I'm only like level 25 or something like that, and I think the game goes up to 70 or 80 or whatever, so I'm still low level, but to me, she's badass. And I built her on Path of Exile Harvest. Harvest has ended, and now they've started Heist, right? So my character, I can still play her going through regular mode, but now if I want to play Heist, I have to create a whole new character. I have to literally start from scratch. My character doesn't transfer over, and I thought they would, right? Because I invested time in the character, and I built multiple characters, and now I'm wondering, why did I waste my time building multiple characters when the season ends? They're no longer, you can't use them in the new season. There should be a way, but, right, like there isn't, right? So now I created a whole new character to play Heist, but my badass, like, I don't want to build another witch. Like, I want to continue leveling mine, but it's just like, it's so frustrating because I thought I'd be able to take her, because people were saying, oh, your character won't fit in with the new game mechanics depending on how you build them, but it doesn't seem to matter because you can't even bring them over anyway. Okay. I could be wrong, but I really like Path of Exiles. It's like a free Diablo that is huge on character customization and gear sets, which I think is really awesome. But I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I am at my destination, and I am now going to drop off my quest items. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all have a great day. And please join me next time when I go for a drive.